I used to think people chose to live in tiny homes because they wanted less. They wanted less stuff, less space, less maintenance. But the more tiny housers I meet, I'm actually finding that people are choosing to live tiny because they want more of something else entirely. More control over how you live, more connection to the land, and more intention to your daily life. In this video, we're going to show you 3 tiny home homesteads with people who own a tiny home and park it on their own land, and they're going to explain how they've extended their lifestyle to be outside of the home and why the tiny home was a tool that allowed them to do this. All of these families have prioritized making the most of their land, whether it's making room for the family to grow, generating passive income, or building an entire off-grid system. And you'll see that each of these homeowners have settled on a tiny home as the solution to give them what they actually want out of life. The first tiny house we're visiting is owned by a growing family. With the need for more space, these parents decided that instead of building bigger, they'd park a tiny house right next to their family home and use it as bedrooms for their teenage daughters. The family works together to raise livestock and care for the land, and the children are learning where food comes from and how to take care of the animals. And their tiny house is the final piece of the puzzle that makes this version of family life possible.
Brett and I moved out here onto the property about 19 years ago. Built this carriage house. It's about 1,200 square feet. And at the time it was just the 2 of us. And then, 3 kids came. For years, we were feeling the squeeze in our house and sharing rooms, and it's fine when kids are little, but the older they get, it gets harder. It was a lot of time and money and permitting to do an addition. Our brains were sparked with the option of doing a tiny house as an extra bedroom. So this is kind of their little refuge, so it's worked out beautifully. It still is close and it is attached to our house now, so it still feels like part of the house, but also like a little separate.
We kind of approached it as, we're doing bedrooms, that's really our main need, and so we wanted to do it very simple and basic.
We saw the potential of how cool these tiny houses could be, and the fact that this is their little project. They were really excited about the actual space.
Our builder came in with kind of a lower end of the budget for us.
And when all was said and done, it was about $67,000. It took about 6 months for the builders to complete the project from the time we put the deposit down until they delivered it to our house.
Here we are standing outside of our tiny house bedroom, and we're super excited to show you the inside, so come on in. As I kind of looked at tiny houses online and saw that they could be really cool and customizable, I started getting really excited. So when we decided for sure that we wanted to go ahead and start building a tiny house, I got to be there for the meeting between the tiny house builder and his wife, and they helped us customize it and design it so that it would best fit our needs. And I got to kind of help design my loft and how high I wanted the ceiling to be and all of that. So here I am in my tiny bathroom. We have a Nature's Head composting toilet. We have a pretty good sized corner shower. And then we also have our sink and vanity back here. And we were able to get a pretty good sized bathroom in our tiny house. I'm used to not having a huge bathroom, so it's been a pretty easy adjustment for me. One thing that comes with living in a tiny house is finding storage in unlikely places. Under the stairs that lead up to my bedroom loft, we have a lot of storage. My sister has her little closet here, and then I have my closet under the top step here. I feel like I have pretty much enough room for clothes, but I can't have like a limitless amount of clothes. I definitely need to always be kind of getting rid of some. So now we're gonna go up and look at my loft. This is my bedroom. I have a full-size bed in here, and as you can see, I barely have enough room to sit up, but it does make it a little bit cozier. And then I also have a lot of storage over here. I can keep most of my clothes there, and I have a nice shelf. So now we're on the opposite end of the house, and this is where my sister's room is. She has a ground level room. Out her window she can see the goats, so she really likes that. And it was important to her to have a closed off space So she has a pocket door if she needs privacy or quiet. So this is our hangout loft. It's just an extra space for us to chill. A lot of things that we like to do up here is reading. We also love listening to the rain in here because it has a metal roof, so you can hear the rain really well. These sofa cushions that I'm sitting on, they turn into beds, so when I have my friends over, if they wanted to spend the night, they could sleep up here.
Raising kids out here, they have chores and animals. So we just made the decision as a family, this is our lifestyle. We share responsibilities, we help each other, we do things together. I think this is probably how families were meant to live. The lifestyle really fits what we love and what we value.
The girls threaten that they'll never move away. So they really love this place, this land. I mean, it has shaped who they are. I guess goals of being out in this area is to create community and draw people in and connect people.
How can we use what we have to help others? Welcome to our farmette. I'm going to give you a little tour of our home. So this property my dad bought in 1975. So I actually had the privilege of growing up here. You will notice our goats here. Our first batch of babies came during COVID. So we started a little something called COVID Relief Goat Therapy. And we put a sign up on the road. Neighbors would come and just be with the goats and the babies, and it was very therapeutic, especially during COVID lockdown. So this is Janet. She's our little Silky. We have too many chickens to count, and we have 2 turkeys. We do eat meat, so we like to teach the kids where meat comes from and just how to raise them. Our girls do 4-H, so they show the chickens at fair, and so kind of multi-purpose. We love our chickens. The roosters aren't our favorite, they're loud, but they are beautiful. Behind this place is the orchard with all the fruit trees. So we have apple tree and plum tree. And also behind our house is Bunny Town, and that's where the girls keep their bunnies that they show at 4-H.
This is Bunny Town. We have 15 rabbits here. We use them for a lot of different things. They're our pets. Me and my sister show them in 4-H, and it all started when we got 2 mini Rexes given to us, and now it's grown into this whole little farm. So rabbits are definitely my first kind of passion in the animal world. So this is Misty. She is about 5 years old. She's a Netherland dwarf rabbit. She was given to me by a family that was moving overseas, so they could no longer keep her.
Because it's still a mobile unit, we can kind of repurpose this space for another need at a later date. Some of the things we've talked about is using it as an office space or a guest house. Maybe our daughters could take it to college and use it as a residence. So it gives us a lot of flexibility and versatility. When we made an investment in this little addition, we can use it in many ways for the future.
I know you probably zone out the minute a sponsored message comes on in the middle of a video. I do too, but today I'm going to ask you to hang out and listen to the message because it's something that's really important. For every person there is on the planet, there are about 13 farmed animals, and the vast majority of those animals are kept in truly horrific conditions in factory farms. My tiny house is parked on a working farm that actually raises livestock. The family here takes such beautiful care of their animals, and after seeing that, I know that there's a better way. FarmKind isn't a regular sponsor because they're not trying to sell you something. They're just trying to help millions and millions of animals that need our help. They work with experts that recommend some of the top charities that are working to end factory farming. Freeing chickens from cages, getting mother pigs out of crates so they can look after their babies, and evolving our food system away from factory farming altogether. And FarmKind never takes a cut of your donation. It all goes to help animals. If you sign up for just 50 cents a day, that's $15 a month, you'll save 350 animals in a year from unnecessary suffering. Use my code for a 50% boost on monthly donations. If even a fraction of this community did that, we'd transform the lives of hundreds of thousands of animals. You can find all the information in the description. With FarmKind, it's never been so easy to change lives. Next up, we have a family that's living in the city but turned their backyard into a tiny home homestead. And they're using the tiny home to leverage what they already had in a smarter way. They already had the land and space, so rather than letting it sit unused, they've turned it into something that generates income and also covers their mortgage. The tiny home acts as a short-term rental and also gives people the experience of staying on a homestead. Guests aren't just staying in the tiny home, they are stepping onto a property with animals, outdoor space, and a slower pace of life that so many people are looking for.
As a young couple, you start thinking about buying a house, raising a family, affordability. Ultimately, we just love the tiny house industry because there's just so many types of tiny homes. There's a lot of options, a lot of different ways that you can use a tiny home.
We are a family of 7, Miles and I, and then we have 5 children. So we live in the main house, but then we also have this really cool tiny space here that we've just turned into a little short-term rental right in our backyard.
So we've had the tiny house here for about a year. The tiny house cost $65,000. That was the purchase price. A lot of times you don't hear people talking about this. They kind of just say a number, but you're always thinking like, okay, how did you finance? Did you just pay cash for that? Did you get a loan? And so there are opportunities where the previous owner can finance the home. You can buy something owner finance. And so instead of going to the bank and trying to get qualified for a loan or paying a large sum cash, the purchase price was $65,000, but then we had a small down payment and just worked out monthly payments to the owner to pay that down, which was $900 a month. So truly like cash into the deal. It was $10,000 down payment and then all the work just to kind of get it to where it is right now. Probably another like $10,000 to $12,000. So we're looking at really about $20,000 to $22,000 in terms of buying it and remodeling it. All right, guys, so this is the outside space. We'll first just start with really just the vibes, right? So we have the utilities on the backside. So when I launched the Airbnb, I actually did not have this green wall here and the utilities were kind of visible, but I really wanted something that was like a cool, unique little thing to cover this area, but not make it like super obvious. And so this green space is really nice. And then as we continue, we decided let's offer some breakfast to guests because this is actually, again, on our property where we live. And so, we're always making breakfast for the kids and for us as a family. And so we actually have it to where guests can purchase breakfast. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna get creative and just cut out a little breakfast nook. And so that's what this box is here for. We literally just slide in the plates, the food, the breakfast, and they can open it up on this side and literally take the food out and eat and then lock it, which is really awesome. We are coming around this side actually to the porch here. These are real rocking chairs, which is amazing. It's a great space. I mean, people come out and dogs run around, people bring their kids. It's a nice little area to just sit and relax. So on our property, we have 22 chickens and we have goats, but I don't know if some of our chickens are out here. Not all 22, they're out exploring and having fun. And then we have Biscuit and Maple. Oh my gosh, they are like the stars. People definitely come to hang out with the goats. Hey girls. And they're super, super friendly. As you can see, they come running up. Look how adorable, look how cute these guys are. Oh my gosh, so amazing. So Biscuit is the light brown one, Maple's the dark one. Maple like maple syrup. And then Biscuit is like a biscuit, light brown. Guests are welcome to go inside, or they can actually let the gate open and the goats can come out here and run around. Honestly, the animals have their own little section, but they actually free range all around all the time, and so it's a lot of fun. Let me show you inside. All right, guys, so as you come in, we have TV on the wall here for folks to just enjoy favorite movies when they're relaxing here. This whole wall is just a really great section. There's a lot of different things. So we also include like a little speaker because we do have a hot tub in the back here as well for the tiny house. And so you want to just put this on the side, a little waterproof speaker. And then of course our chicken treats. As we continue entering, closet space is a really important thing. You know, some spaces are so small, it's like, where do you put things? This actually folds down. So if you want even more space and feel open, you don't have to have this up here. This can fold down. Here, this is also built to where it's a little bit of a nook. Obviously, when you're sitting, your feet can go here, but it's also a nice little place to put your bags. But I love this setup and vibe because you get so much natural light. Just the way the design is, we can still have so many big windows everywhere and get a lot of natural light. Now, I'm not gonna go up the ladder of the stairs, but we do have queen size beds. So actually the lofts are designed for king size beds, but we wanted the space to feel even a little bit more spacious, and so we went down to a queen, which is still great. You know, obviously queen size beds are amazing, but we have them on both sides. So queen bed there, queen bed there. We have everything for you to be able to make like good meals while you're here. So we have a nice stove top here that you can use and some really, really nice pots and pans. It's like living at home. That's really the experience we wanted to create for folks. Nice sink here. There's no reason why you wouldn't just always have water, hot water. Our toilet's flushable toilet. Everything just works as if it's like an extension from the house. This was a really interesting story here because, you know, a lot of times in tiny houses, you have like little mini fridges. I bought this off of Facebook Marketplace and I actually didn't think it was this large, but I lucked out because I love the size. It was just perfect. It was just like, again, just a God thing to me. I mean, it's amazing. And it's literally the perfect size, but it's massive. So as we pass the kitchen, we are entering into the bathroom. It's a tighter space, so you want to be thoughtful of what's in here, but we have all the essentials you need. I'm really just happy about how all this turned out. The difference with a house is everything I think nowadays is like big, you know, like big closets, big, you know, king size bed, big yard, big everything. Tiny, even the word itself is totally counterintuitive to that. It's tiny house, right? And so really just think about like what's the most important for you when you're like living in a space. Like, you know, is it the outdoor space? You know, just keep those things in mind. You know, maybe you want to be out more rural so you can do all kinds, have a zip line or something. I don't know, goats, chickens, whatever you want on your property. So just figure out what's most important for you and really design that out and build that out and spend the time doing that because once you're there, you have it. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be a great experience.
The last tiny home homestead that we're going to be showing you today takes it one step further. Not only are they living small off their own land and raising animals, but they've also developed entire off-grid systems. Water collection, biogas, growing their own food, reusing materials, and raising animals. They've designed their life to be completely self-sufficient.
Finn and I met over 14 years ago. She was living in London and I was living in South Florida. During our first 2 years of flying back and forth across the Atlantic, we ended up spending time on a narrowboat over in the canals of England. And we realized that we enjoyed being in close proximity of each other. We liked that small space. 2 years later, she proposed to me, asked me to marry her. One of the terms, condition, POQO's rules that I had to adhere to accept her proposal was that we leave the big cities of Miami and London, we move out in the country somewhere, and we build our own small house. That was our motivation to get started. We decided that we were going to do a shed conversion. We wanted to have something already dried in, and then we could just do the inside ourselves. We picked this company, Dirksen Portable Buildings, for a couple of reasons. One, I really liked the way it was built. It was built solid. We were talking about buying a shed that we were going to build into our forever home, and I wanted to make sure my new bride had a solid roof over her head. We liked the lofted barn design. We liked the high ceiling, but the quality and the construction was all combined into the perfect storm, if you will, of something that was positive for us. We spent $6,500 for our empty shed shell.
The design that I like to go for, it will be something that you don't feel so close in.
The reality is this house has gone through a metamorphosis 3-4 times over the past 12 years.
So many.
But the very first conversion for us to move in took us
a year.
More than a year, just slightly more than a year.
And we did all the work, pretty much all the work ourselves.
We have, living with us here, 31 cats, 4 dogs, 2 pigs, 6 goats, 20-some chickens, we lost count, and 4 ducks, and a partridge and a pear tree.
Welcome to our beloved cabin. We're here on our 16-acre homestead in Middle Georgia out near Lake Oconee. We started off with the Dirksen portable building, 12 by 30 double lofted barn. We have 304 square feet on the interior of the wood structure. And with the additions of our greenhouse bathroom and greenhouse kitchen, we're just at about 500 square feet of covered space. We've got a garden here. This is Finn's main garden. She likes a garden that's close to the house because, as she put it, a garden that's out of sight is a garden that's out of mind. This is such a big asset here on the homestead. It processes our sewage, but it also creates a biogas. We create the gas, we use it for cooking, so we're not propane reliant. And also it creates this amazing nutrient-rich liquid fertilizer that we use in all of our gardens and on our crops. So a lot of people ask about water. Two things we have is we've got 1,000 gallons of rainwater collection. Well, how do you pump it into the house? Well, the pressure works just fine. Here's the water line that goes into the kitchen. We also, when we bought one of the adjacent lots, it came with a well, a drilled well on it, and we piped that over here for the garden hoses that we use for our gardens and for our chickens and livestock. So water here is never an issue for us. So here we are on the back of the cabin. What we built a long time ago is what we call the catio. We built the catio for a couple of reasons. One, as we run the animal sanctuary, rescue sanctuary out here, felines are the #1 drop off and rescue. They come and hang out in here for a week or two until they're spayed, neutered, and this is where their intake occurs. But it's just a little area. It's a 12 by 12 enclosure we built, and it just gives them a little recreation area, a little area to hang out and play, a little area to chill out. What folks really ask us a lot about is what's going on inside. So come on for the real show. Honey, I'm home. So when we did this ceiling, we sheetrocked this originally. We stuffed it full of R13 insulation, and then we sheetrocked it. And it was a mess. It wasn't pretty at all. So we dumpster dived this 1/4-inch plywood and we hand cut it. That was just such a pain in the butt, but it came out looking good in the end. These were barn doors. These were just raw doors that were in here. So what we did was we insulated them in, again, cutting plywood and filling it in. And then we put these Anderson windows in here. We found these used windows. And if you're gonna do a shed conversion, if you get one of these lofted barn style sheds, these side walls are really short. So you can't put conventional sized doors in here. We used to sleep up in the loft. For over 10 years, we slept in the loft. I'm in my 60s. It just started becoming a little bit of a challenge going up and down the ladder in the middle of the night. The mattress is full size?
Yes, it's a full size.
So, and it's great for us. It comes in handy when you got a little teeny wife. It's perfect. The greenhouse kitchen, it's Finn's idea, Finn's creation, Finn's design. You decided you wanted a greenhouse kitchen.
Well, first of all, I think the idea come from, I never liked the kitchen that we had before, so I kind of like want to knock that down and add something because I feel like it's so dark in there and I want to bring more nature light in. So, and then we decided, you know what, go big or go home.
Our cabin is 304 square feet, and with the greenhouse additions, we're around 500 square feet. People ask, doesn't it get hot here? The reality is really not too bad. We let the top get covered with leaves during the summer, so we have all that shade of here. We have cross vents across the top. It goes all the way through, and we typically have mild summers and winters here in this area. In the heat of the summer, when all the breeze and everything is going on, we'll sit in a chair over there next to the koi pond and feel the coolness of the water, especially when the fountain's bubbling and everything. It actually generates a coolness over there. Finn found these Hoosier cabinets a long time ago. These are the only things that have closed doors to them, and it's because it came with them. All the other cabinetry and everything in here pretty much is open-faced, storage and everything. People ask us, why do we have such a big sink? Our response to that is why not? It's a 7-foot commercial grade sink. It gave us extra countertop space. We love it. And then another unique feature about our sink and about our bathtub is they're all plumbed into the gardens on the other side here. So we don't use detergent soaps. We don't use chemical soaps. We use Castile or Myers soaps. And all of that goes into the gardens.
There we go. These our lockers.
Finn found the lockers, I think on Facebook Marketplace. Each one is used for different things. They're great storage, and we damaged this wall pretty bad at one time. We removed shelves when the kitchen was in here, and Finn was not in the mood to wait for me to patch and seal and sand and paint the wall. And she said, put the lockers against it. So we had a couple of guys come over, they helped me because these things are heavy. And we put them against it, and that was that.
Shall we move on to the walk-through closet?
Walk-through closet. We rotate our clothes. So this is our winter clothes right now. And these are all stuffed with summer clothes, socks, underwear. And then when summer comes along, summer clothes comes out, winter clothes get all stuffed in there. So they kind of rotate back and forth. So we're here in our greenhouse bathroom. We built this in 2019. Originally our bathroom was what is now our walk-through closet. Another one of Finn's ideas.
And I think what sparked the idea for me would be this bathtub here. I think we had this clawfoot tub for quite a while, and I have a thing for a clawfoot tub. I was like, it is so romantic. We have to put it somewhere that we can just show off.
This is in a nice shady area of the yard, so it doesn't get hot in here really at all during the summer. So here in the greenhouse bathroom, because of space and because of just how we live, we don't have a sink. If we want to wash our hands in the bathroom, we got the tub right here. We also have the sink out in the kitchen. We have an on-demand tankless hot water heater from a company called Precision Temp. So we have hot water in here, we have the tub. In regards to the toilet, over the years, we've had all sorts of different composting toilets. But for us here, we talked about the home biogas system that we have off to the side outside the kitchen. We flush directly into that. And the way we do that is with a home biogas bio toilet. It looks and operates a lot like a marine toilet. A question we get asked a lot, you have no privacy in this glass room.
Well, I don't need privacy here. We live in the woods. This is more like our sanctuary. This is what it's about, you and me.
Right.
Thanks for watching this week's video. If you'd like to learn more about any of the tiny homes that we showed you in this video, make sure you check out the description, and I will see you soon with another tiny or unique home tour.